is, what are you standing for? So that, and I suppose really where it comes back to is, when somebody's thinking of, say, buying from you, or they're thinking of doing one of your courses, or, buying the subscription boxes and whatnot, is why are they doing it? So what do you stand for? If they're at a dinner party and somebody, that girl, Jill's Kitchen, what do they do again? And then...
Yeah, and they've got a couple of words or
yeah,
sentences.
Yeah, it's just having something that frames it. And this is where, your story, you've a couple of phrases that you're going to use all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Change it a little bit and adapt it, because you don't, but like we were saying the last day, just kind of keep to that core story, just so that for everyone else, it'll get boring for you, there's no doubt, but for everybody else, that they're very able to see what's the values, like what's your core values, what does it represent, what do you do, what does that mean? And I suppose really it goes back to, what's the benefit of, say, buying from you? What's the benefit of, say, me bringing my daughter to you?
Yeah.
What's the benefit of the subscription box? Like, what's that doing? So what we'll do is we'll keep going down through it, because I think it's just kind of talking through this stuff. But I suppose from a functional value, like, functional is very much, obviously you're just using a computer, it's very brief in some ways, but I suppose things that jumped out at me just in terms of our last session is, you were mentioning education, good food, scratch cooking.
Okay.
So they kind of be words that people, when I heard them, when I was listening to you, I was like, okay, yeah, I get what you're saying,
Yeah, okay.
So, and then like performance, really, and I mean, just some of this is jargon, so don't mind that, but it's just more around, what do people feel they'll get from it? So what do your clients feel they'll get from it? So I was just putting down things like easing parents' workload by bringing nostalgia and old traditional values back into family homes, and parties with ready prepared cooked packages. So I was just trying to frame it. Now, you don't have to do it like exactly like that, but I was just doing it, I suppose, just listening to you, from the recording, trying to think, okay, well, what's this doing? And like you were saying, there's a lot of nostalgia around food, around the smell, around, grandmother's baking, recipes handed down through the families. But there's a generation probably there that's lost that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You were actually bringing that back.
Yeah.
And you're helping and assisting parents to do that. So that's why I was putting back that nostalgia and old tradition.
Yeah, no, I like that. Yeah. And I like the eating parents' workload. Yeah.
So just, this is just, as I said, a starting point. So it's just kind of building on this, and this has to come from you. It has to be your words. So these are just a guide. So sometimes what I find really helpful is getting at the thesaurus, or just going online and, if for a word like nostalgia, just see what other words are out there. Because you might stay with nostalgia, but there might be something else that would really resonate with you and represents your brand. So thesaurus is going to be your best friend, for this process.
Okay.
The other thing, the biggest part of this really is the emotional side of it for people.
Okay. Yes.
Because the functional is fine. People get that, it's important, but mostly why people buy anything is the emotional side of it. So that nostalgia, you think of your grandma, you're like, oh, you think of your, be it your mom or wherever, baking cookies or whatever it was. Or, obviously more nowadays, there's so many more international foods, like you're saying with the sushi the last day, veggie burgers and all that sort of thing. There's an element of the nostalgia, but equally wanting to be modern, wanting to be healthy, bring that traditional values back into the home. There is kind of a movement back towards that in some ways.
Yeah.
So just to, I suppose really what you're trying to do is get to the heart of people. What are they looking for? And part of that is nearly that you're becoming part of the family, in that your subscription box, for example, is arriving. There's so much excitement about it. There's, people are looking forward to it. But you're bringing people together. You're bringing families together. You're bringing, classes, be it, if they're doing it for a party or whatnot together. But it creates an experience that's unforgettable. So, and that's important to people, particularly for parties, particularly, if there's something going on where they're doing something together. I mean, I suppose Italian families, I always think of them as, or Mediterranean families always appear to me to be so good at this, where the grandmother is cooking and, they all do it. They all just jump in there and help each other. Whereas, in Ireland, what I kind of feel anyway, that there's very much of an aloneness about it. There's a very solitary kind of view around cooking. And there's just the mother in the kitchen cooking on her own. And, it's, just to kind of think about that, what you're helping them to do is bring that community back in, and also, I suppose, reintroducing foods or introducing newer foods into people's diet by the very fact that you have them available.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's all that nostalgia. It's the traditional values. You know, because I really notice now, even, you know, with Olivia in school now, she's in senior infants going into first class, and you probably notice it too, just parents, you know, they're bringing their kids, be it to mass or things they mightn't even have done themselves for years.
Mm-hmm.
They're wanting to have their children understand what it's like to, you know, have freedom, have this nostalgia, have family. So I suppose this is where you're wanting to reinforce that on through your brand, so that they're feeling that not, you know, you're selling an experience. And nowadays, if you even look at holiday destinations, I mean, years ago people went to Spain, you know, you went to the sun and that was it, and that was fantastic. Whereas nowadays people are looking for experiences. So people are traveling, you know, on trains around Europe, or I don't know, they're going on hiking holidays, and they're looking for an experience.
Yeah.
So part of what you're doing is creating an experience and a community and that nostalgia. So you're weaving in different threads into what your product is creating, which is amazing actually, Jill, because, you know, there's very few products and offer that can, you know, that can offer that.
Yeah.
So just to have a think around that, you know, what might, you know, when you're reflecting this, maybe think of when the parents are dropping off their kids, kind of what they're saying to you when they're collecting them. You know, what's the kind of conversations that you're having with them?
Yeah. It's just so some of them, the ones that I'm having conversations with about this sort of stuff is very much, you know, how much fun the kids have had and how great they feel. And, you know, they've I mean, they're not going to say they had this great sense of achievement, but they're saying, you know, they have fun, but they loved what they loved showing them what they created, you know, so there is pride in that as well, and all of that. And I suppose, you know, one of the grandmothers actually was raving about it last week when she was picking up her granddaughter. She's brought her a few times now, and she just saying, you know, it's just, she says, I bake with her, but it's great that she does this separate from me and can come back and say, I did this myself.
Right.
And again, it's that pride thing as well, you know. So I suppose experience is good, but from the grandmother's point of view, she feels it's a lost art, and that she's delighted that her grandkid is showing an interest in it and wants to learn more, you know. So she understands the value of it, I suppose, you know.
Yeah, well, that's lovely. And even to use that as a quotation, even on your website or in general, you know, I think that would be great. You know, and I think the other thing is, it just strikes me as well, is that you're actually teaching the children to be independent in many ways. You're enabling them that level of independence where they can fend for themselves in terms of cooking. You know, because that's a life skill.
Yeah, it is, for sure.
You know, and having the confidence so young to do that, and understanding the different foods and the varieties, and, you know, the different, and the fact that they're going to try it. You know, so even bringing that across, because I think that would resonate with a lot of parents, because like that's one part of your story as well in terms of the fussy eating.
Yeah.
So to reinforce that, you know, the rule for Jill's Kitchen is that tasting three times, which I love. But you could reinforce that even with the subscription boxes, that this is Jill's rule, and, you know, it's, you know, that would really, I suppose, resonate with parents as well, equally are tearing their hair out because they're only eating white food or whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and I like the idea, you know, where you're cutting out, you know, the fruit and stuff and dipping it in the chocolate, and even identifying the fruit and the veg as well. I mean, there's a lot of life skills there where it's getting back to basics. And I sometimes it struck me as well that in France they seem to be a lot better at this as well, where, you know, they typically don't have fruit or veg out of season.
Yeah,
you know, they're very good at, you know, having, you know, they're very good at just having good food, and
it's very seasonal and it's very fresh.
And they know, you know, whereas I think a lot of Irish people, and probably Americans as well, they just order it. And I remember reading a story where I think it was at Strawberries, some French guy was in Ireland or the UK or somewhere, and they couldn't believe there was strawberries in the menu, and really felt that what was the quality like, and what were they eating in terms of how many pesticides or whatever was on
Right.
it. And we're just astounded. And the conversation or the story was framed around that the other people at the table were like, huh? They're out of season. What? You can get strawberries all year round.
I think there's a season for strawberries.
Yeah. You know, you can get them all year round in supermarkets. You know, it hadn't even dawned on people like that there is a season for things. So just that complete lack of knowledge of the seasons and just stuff. I saw, I don't know, did you ever see Val's Kitchen? Did you ever come across?
No.
She's written a really good book actually for some bread recipes. What's her last name? I'll share it with you later. She's in Limerick. She's really good actually, got loads of PR. But she had an article up on Facebook last week about milk.
Right.
And about raw milk. And she was just making some points, you know, that about pasteurization. And anyway, there's some crowd in Limerick now and they're doing raw milk, even though I have to laugh at that term even because I grew up on a farm and we drank raw milk. It was just milk to us.
Just milk, yeah.
Yeah, like it's not raw, it's milk. You know, but it's just interesting that I suppose that she's having to put that there now and that people are identifying milk as raw when it's not raw, it's just milk.
But I think it was banned for a long time, or they were trying to ban it or something like that.
That's right,
Wasn't that it?
Yeah, they're making a comeback now. But what they're saying was, and I think there was some in the study, I don't know that she was sharing, I can't remember exactly, but the pasteurization actually takes out a lot of the nutrients and that actually you're not getting. So it was just making the opposite argument in many ways. But it's interesting because definitely as we were growing up drinking raw milk, people would laugh at us, you know, because thinking how dangerous it is, you're going to get TB and all the rest of it. You know, but anyway, I suppose to me it's just interesting that people just don't understand the seasons, that they don't understand, and maybe that could be something that you could kind of reference perhaps.
Okay.
Because there does seem to be, you know, a lot of people getting plots of land, or, you know, they're growing some of their veg.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a movement as such as of yet, but people are moving in that direction.
No, they are, and they're moving towards growing their own for sure. I mean, it is a section that I'd love to kind of work on the, you know, on the site and be be part of. Actually, I have somebody who can guest blog on for me, so maybe I should do that.
Yeah, I think the thing is, once you're talking about this sort of thing, what happens is people are like, oh wow, we'll definitely send the kids there because she's really into organic, or she's really into you know, all that sort of stuff. And that's the kind of message, the kind of subliminal message that's coming through.
Okay. I can't keep my vegetables and my fruits alive in my back garden. I'm useless at it, actually.
Don't tell them that.
I won't tell them that. I've been trying for 2 years. I got a grow box or a
you can't do everything, Jill, you know what I mean? So yeah, you just don't have the green fingers. So what you've got to do is go to next door to your neighbour who has green fingers.
No, but I have a friend of mine who's just become she's been into gardening and growing her own for years, and she's just set herself up. Actually, she's in Tip. And she does garden design and all that sort of stuff. But she's helped me like numerous times. But unless I have somebody there over my shoulder, actually, that's one of the things I said to her to do, was do it from a foolproof kind of newsletter thing, where it's like, okay, now you need to do this. This, if it looks like this, it's dead. If it looks like this, you can take the vegetables out. Like, you know, it's like, please just do a fool's guide to cooking. Dummy's guide to gardening, I should say, or to growing your own.
Sounds great.
But because she's great, she has loads of stuff growing, you know, and I'm like, oh God, I did. It was great for a while, and I kept them going, and then it all went to pot.
Such is life, as they say. So you can't do everything. So
yeah.
But yeah, I think just if you're talking around things like that, that just kind of that's the added value to your brand. So I suppose you have the core part, which is looking at, okay, what's the benefits you're bringing? So that's you know, number 5 there. What are the benefits of your products? And it's really from a customer's perspective.
Okay.
What are they getting from it? What transfer? Like, there's a big thing around transformation now, and like you are transforming their health, you're transforming their family life. You know, there's multiple, but the thing is to list them. You have to be so obvious in business and tell them, because genuinely they just don't get it.
Okay.
So creating.
This is the part that I find hard. So say there's a sentence there. What are the benefits of your products? I could sit here for hours and go, even knowing all I know and like having all those words there and everything, I'd be like, Well, I don't know. And having talked to customers and everything.
It's just, I suppose, it's even just to note them down. And like, what I'd say to you is think of stories, you know, from your own perspective. So, So for example, if you think of just something like this, where, you know, even to put it on your website or something along the lines of this, where think of the days when you used to bake with your grandmother or your mother, you know, so what you're wanting to do is bring people right back, you know, to their childhood. So think of your own childhood. Think of the days where you walked into the house and there was the smell of bread that, you know, you didn't even want to wait for it to cool down, and you cut it and it half fell apart. However, you know, it melted in your mouth, or whatever way you want to put it. The fact that you had bran, you know, you could, you know, if you compare sort of to packaged bread now, there's a huge difference, we'll say, in terms of taste.
Yeah.
What I would focus on there is just the whole family aspect of it, you know, bring people back. So same thing, like, do you remember walking into your house with the smell of fresh cooking? And say things like fresh cooking. Like, it sounds wrong, but at the same time, it's creating a picture in somebody's mind. And equally, you know, even the old Bisto ad with the guy, you know, the smell of the Bisto and he's following it type of idea.
Yeah.
It's that type of thing. So what you're trying to do is recreate a memory in somebody's mind, in the parent's mind, of having those fresh veg, of having, you know, raw milk or whatever it might be, but just that you're recreating that scene.
Okay.
And then the next kind of part to it is, so you're recreating that scene. So remember back in the good old days, or not even the good old days, but you remember in your childhood, or, you know, you got to frame that, but you're telling a story. So even think of your own childhood and the way you'd have explained it. What might be good for you, actually, if you're finding it hard to write it, is just record yourself, and then actually just with your phone or whatever, and just write then the relevant parts. So just listen back to what you're saying. That might actually be helpful.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
So just that story again of walking into the house, of walking even into your aunt's house or your grandmother's, because I suppose the other thing is, not everybody would have had that, but a lot of people would have, but not everybody. But even if it wasn't their mother, maybe it's their grandmother, there's bound to have been somebody's house, that their aunt or somebody that they walked into, where there was that fresh cooking, that was that welcome, you know, where you're welcoming people with food. Because even if you look back at Irish traditions, we were the land of the saints and the scholars, like, traditionally, but also we were the land of the welcomes, the 1,000 welcomes. That's where Céad Míle Fáilte came from. So it was seen as a thing in Ireland, you know, back centuries, where you welcome people and you shared your food, where there's very much a disconnect now, maybe, where, you know, you cook food just for your 3 people or just for 2 people, and that kind of lack of family sort of structure nearly. So I'm just wondering, could you bring some of that back in, where you're reinforcing those memories? Because a lot of people would have come from relatively big families, be it 4, 6 or 8, you know, and it's even cousins being around or whatever, where everyone just got stuck in and you ate, you know, there was no, I'm not eating that or whatever.
Yeah. You didn't get food if you didn't.
Yeah. But even, like, say, I remember, you know, we'd apple trees, and, you know, stacking the apples, and just the bruised apple, if there was one bruised apple, it affected everything. And my mother was doing baked apple, Lord save us, we used to be sick of it, for ages, or, you know, it was a tart, and, you know, whatever, all that kind of thing. But just, again, just think of scenes from your childhood, record them maybe into your phone, and you'll start thinking of ideas even as you're driving or whatever, and bring that story back into your brand, because that's what you're trying to recreate for people. Not trying to, you are recreating for people, you know, in your kitchen. They can come to your kitchen, and you're doing it for people. So you're actually taking the stress and strain. So it's using words like that, even where you're taking the stress and strain from parents, where, you know, they can drop their children off. Or I don't know if you have parents even staying there sometimes, but, you know, where they're getting that recreation. So you're teaching them life skills, but you're also recreating, like, a fabulous experience around food. So it's going away from that whole Americanized idea of fast food.
Yeah.
You know, it's where that family values, you know, where you're teaching them to understand food, understand the different fruit and veg varieties, having that curiosity around actually trying them, not being afraid to try them. So you're teaching a lot of, so I think just listing kind of all, and not even just listing, but telling a story. Because if you list, sometimes you have to have 3 or 4 maybe in a bullet point, but overall you're telling a story. that will resonate with people.
Okay.
So they're kind of the brand values, and just your brand values is kind of what we've just been talking about. So example, Virgin, what you stand for. So like they're saying quality, innovation, value for money, fun. And it's because they talk about fun a lot, or you know, a sense of challenge. Like Land Rover is another one, individualism, authenticity, and freedom. So just to kind of 2 or 3 words that you stand for, that people, a lot of it is the same. You're kind of repeating this a lot, but it's framed slightly differently.
Okay.
And I suppose this is where you need to understand what values are important to your target market. So that's just going back to the parents, like what's important to them, you know, what are they looking for? And I think part of that is looking for less stress and strain. It's looking for good food for their children. It's like ideally ready-made, but not the ready-made that, you know, is, you know, packaged for 3 months or 10 months before. So just looking at that. And part of this then is your brand vision. An example of that is Apple enables creativity, like we were talking about the last day. But does it really? No, but they're telling people it does.
Okay.
So what you're wanting to envision is a world you want to bring about through your brand. So what do you want to create with your brand? And part of what I hear from you is that you're wanting to create that family life, you know, without you kind of saying it. That's what you were recreating, we'll say, in a way, where there was that curiosity. You know, even that, you know, you were talking about that grandmother and the child coming back, and, you know, being able to say, oh, we tried this and we tried that. So you're creating that bond even between that grandmother and the child. So I suppose, what vision do you have? Like, how do you see this? And literally just in a very real context, how do you see this impacting like a family's life? How do you see this impacting the child's life? So what vision, like, how do you want to?
I think actually you said the word there. You said, like, I think I'm writing it down as you're speaking. It's like creating a family bond in homes around the country. You know, so
just write that down before we forget.
I just wrote it down.
Okay, good. Because I hate that when you go back later. What?
Yeah.
Okay, so just, and you know, again, it doesn't have to stick like this. So what you'll find with this stuff is you'll need to do it over a week or so. We can do other stuff in between a little bit as well if you want, but there's a bit of time has to go into this, just in terms of, it's not that you don't know it, but just to think it through.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I agree. 100%. Yeah.
And then when you have it, you have it. And like, you might adapt things slightly if you brought on new products or whatever, but overall your vision, that's core. Yeah. So if you look at, like, say, Apple enables creativity, I mean, they can sell any amount of things under that. So you don't want to be limiting yourself either, you know, into, we only do carrots, or I don't know, something stupid. I'm not saying you would, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Benetton and the world of social harmony. Amazon brings bookshops into homes. Versace is a pleasurable life based on beauty and joy. So you can see they're very generic, actually.
What's Benetton's one?
The world of social harmony. That's what they say their vision is.
Right.
So it's there on the sheet anyway, but it's, I suppose.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I see it there in the next one. Okay.
Their marketing for a long time was around, you know, even they got a lot of slack back in the 80s because they were one of the brands that were going on about AIDS, and they had some really graphic pictures of AIDS sufferers, you know, on their marketing, and they've done it a lot over the years, and they got awards, but equally got a lot of kind of crap about it as well. But that's what they were standing for. Or even the Anita Roddick from the Body Shop. She, bless you, she would have been the same word. They stood for kind of like innocent as well. So just what
social consciousness.
Yeah, exactly. But sometimes they don't marry together as such. We'll say, in terms of, if you think of Benetton and social harmony, they, in a way, there's a disconnect. But this is what they've put out to the world. So it's up to you what you want it to stand for, basically. Okay. I already spoke to you about why you're in business, and that kind of goes back to your story as well. But I think you get that. And I just wrote a little bit about your story, and that, you know, again, we can expand on this, but just, you know, that you were working extensively, and I think this needs to be padded out more, because extensively doesn't frame like the long hours, the days of not seeing your child potentially. Like, this has to tug at the heartstrings of people.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, I've put in single parent, you can leave that in or out, doesn't matter, but as a parent, whatever. But it was like, because it's a challenge to everyone having to work the 9 to 5 or very long hours, is you get to spend so little time with your children. So I think that's something that would resonate with mums and dads the world over, really, you know. And equally, that story of standing in the post office paying your bills with a credit card where you're working so hard.
Yeah.
And there's that defining moment. I think that's the critical part of that aspect of the story, is that defining moment where you're standing there and you're paying your bills and you're like, what the heck?
Yeah.
There's got to be more to life. And I think that so many people have had moments like that and have done nothing about it, or that they have done something about it. But I think it will resonate with people in general, in terms of it'll either inspire them to do something themselves, or they'll recognize themselves in that story.
Okay.
And just the whole you taking a step back, and because there's a big movement towards that as well, just taking a step back and out of the rat race, so to speak. And
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
you know, giving up your work, which is a momentous decision. You know, like it's a difficult decision.
I know that now. At the time, I just had to. Yeah, now I'm like, Christ, what did I do?
That's hilarious.
Too late now.
Yeah. I'm sure you could always go back if you really wanted to.
Oh God, no.
But I suppose the big thing is, you know, you making that momentous decision. As a parent, and so your primary focus is to spend time with your son. And you had that one example, which I didn't actually put in there, but about you doing the soccer training on the Saturday and not doing classes.
Yeah.
I think that's important, because that shows your integrity.
Okay.
Towards your child, and your integrity in general, you know, that you would do that this isn't just about money. This is about kind of creating real change. So when you're on the Late Late Show now, remember this story.
Okay.
But this, you know the way, if you think of that, you know, people that are on the Late Late Show and they have this story to tell.
Yeah, there's always the backstory.
Yeah. So during the time, you know, your son became a fussy eater, and again, so many parents will identify with that, even that they were, or, you know, that there'll always be one or two, and that you did so much research, and that, you know, you can go into that a bit more, putting your hair out, just you came to the realization that simply cooking with your son in the kitchen. And I mean, so that's actually a realization in itself, that, oh my God, like I'm looking for all this answers, and actually cooking
right there.
Yeah, it's there in front of me.
Yeah. It definitely felt like that for sure. Yeah.
So I think that's part of what you're selling as well, is that idea that you don't have to bring your kids to here, there, and everywhere, that actually you just got to have them cooking in the kitchen.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
You know, it's a real kind of pause and think about it sort of moment. And then that bonding and transformation. And then about the friends coming in as well, and that sparked an idea.
Yeah,
I think that's nice as well, because it's not like you were really very busy
after the money.
Yeah, exactly. It was just this idea, wow, I can do something with this. This can really help people. And the fun aspect, that they were having great fun in the kitchen, baking and cooking, and all his friends loved it too. And that, you know, that you literally just sent out some messages on Facebook, and that's where it's grown from, you know. You know, and even the cookie cutters, I put that in. You could put in other examples there if you want to as well. And dipping it in chocolate, I just put that in because that's a bit fun as well. Because I think, you know, some parents, would they think, oh my God, it's just all going to be fruit and veg type of thing. So, and I love that rule. There's a rule, Jill's rule. Because I think a lot of parents, again, will be like, yeah, definitely, you know. And the fact that it's coming from you and not them.
Yes. Yeah, it does help, I guess. Yeah.
So just, you can use some examples, say, of different foods maybe that you've cooked, and that just you got that wow kind of, like even mentioning the sushi or different kind of international cuisine as well, that it's not just you're doing a stew every week sort of or something. Because I think people are looking for that internationality now. We've been exposed to so many different foods now in Ireland, where I think 30 years ago you just didn't have that here at all. So people are trying it, so they're wanting to learn how to cook it. I suppose then as well, you know, in terms of we could flesh this out a bit more, but, you know, you wanted to reach so many people. Like I say a broader market, but you'd have to bring that down a bit more, actually, just looking at it actually. But, you know, you want to reach more people. You want to help more families. You use words like, you want to reach more families, and you were trying to think, how am I going to do this? So it's more along that context, not like marketplace and customers. And
it's more those words.
Yeah, and then the subscription box, that was born. You were so thrilled, and that's where you could even bring in, you know, you're now going to be launching in the States and in Bangkok and Australia, and people have just really grabbed hold of the idea. I think there's a huge element as well of your own grit and perseverance in this story, you know, that's coming through. So just to kind of realize that, I suppose, well, because that's kind of a running theme without needing to, but it is, and a lot of people love that too, and particularly the Americans, they're going to love that. And just this is, what's your story on transformation, we'll say, with the cooking? So how are people transformed? So, and you described that boy coming to your classes and, you know, being shy, not really wanting to stay there, and now bounding home, you know, sort of where that.
That's a good example then.
Yeah, because you see, like, and I just put in that quote that brands command respect because they add value to the lives of their customers, you know, and that's the value that you bring. So that's just a reminder to you that that's what that's doing. So what value does Cook It bring to parents and children's lives? And like, we've talked about this quite a lot, but it's more to know it and write it down, but also to say it on your website, to be saying it on your social media, and to be saying it to you, or you to be saying it to the parents over and over again. And reinforcing these ideas. You literally sometimes have to do like brochures or even laminate some stuff. You have to tell people what it means, because otherwise they'll derive their own meaning from it, and you're wanting to tell a story, you're wanting this to be unified, what they're saying, because otherwise you could have 10 people come to you and they each take away their own idea of what it is that you do. So you're framing it very much. You're wanting that core message to be repeated time and time and time again, because it's kind of like you're telling the media what to say. And again, just number 13 there, that point. So what does it say about parents who buy from you? Like, this is critical in terms of, like I remember saying to you the last day, in terms of identity and parents' identity. They care about the kids, they care about their health and well-being, and want them to establish good, healthy habits for life. I wrote out on Facebook, there was a really good post there about, like, I've always done horse riding, and I have my daughter doing it as well, and she really loves it. But I suppose there was a post put up about it because some people were asking this mom, why are you sending your kids and spending so much money, you know, doing horse riding? And this can apply to any sport or anything, you know, or any pastime. And she was saying, it's not about the horses, it's not about the kind of poshness, because that's a particular sport associated with that, but it's about what they're learning. And she was saying things like, what I'm buying isn't the riding lessons, I'm buying the happiness on their face. I'm buying the thrill that they have when they learn to muck out. I'm buying the camaraderie they have from their other peers, from, you know, learning to ride. I'm buying the fact that they're learning to take direction from somebody else. They're learning left from right. They're, you know, stop, go, you know, all these things. They're learning how to integrate and look after animals in the correct manner. So she had a long list of what the children were learning that were nothing got to do with actual horse riding, but very much around kind of key skills, and around
that every parent wants every child to have.
Basically. And that could transfer. It doesn't have to be horse riding, it could be any.
Of course, I wrote down some of that stuff, and it all is relevant to cooking.
So it's just, you know, that's what they gain from it. The child is gaining. And I mean, look at most parents, if they can at all, they would pay anything to have their child experience that. And what you're doing is as well, I think she would make the point, which I think is true, is you're laying the foundation for them later in life. So for you with the cooking skills, they're going to college, and, you know, they're going out to do things. They're going to other houses, you know, even if they go to, you know, by the time they become teenagers and in fourth year, you know, they could go on a trip or something. They actually know how to cook for themselves. You know, they're not stuck, and they understand the differences and the health things. And, you know, I mean, you probably don't want to get into it, but I mean, on a broader context, like in terms of healthy eating, like there is obviously a level of eating disorders as well. It's probably not something to get into that.
No, I don't want to go down that path.
But it's definitely something though that's relevant to you. But it's framed in the background. I think it's definitely not a debate you want to get into.
No.
Okay, so what does it say about the kids, parents of good, healthy lives? Okay, and I just put in there as well, right, number 14, what are the common interests and characteristics of your customers?
Okay.
And just, I have them, who are your customers? And I have it there just a couple of, so what's their personality like typically? What's their attitudes like, just in general to life? Values, what do they value, their interests, their hobbies, their lifestyle, their behavior, in terms of buying in general. So are they the yummy mummies and their SUVs, or just in general, kind of that type of idea. So what features are appealing to them about your product or service? And the other thing as well is, what media does your target use? So is it magazines? Is it social media? If it is, what social media are they using? Just so you know where to be actually advertising to. So this is more just where you're getting to know your customer.
Yeah.
It's not to say you don't know them already, but it's just where you frame, okay. And what you find is it probably comes down to 2 or 3 types of personalities that come to you.
Yeah, I've done some customer personas actually, and I only took them down off the wall the other day. I have to put all my stuff back up from that actually, and kind of did one for the mom, for the working mom, for the stay at home, and for the grandmother, and all of those things that. So I filtered down all of those things in there actually.
Brilliant.
So I need to take them back out and relook at them.
Yeah, it's just about, I said you have done already. It's just really just about going back in.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, and as a reminder for it, yeah.
It's just tying it all together. So the common characteristics, is it different? What am I saying there?
Is it different for classes and for subscription box?
Oh, yes, that's their customers, as in
the
customers, are they different for the classes and for the subscription box? Which they probably are, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they are a little bit, but having said that, I gave the classes all a box from my old kits the other day, when they were leaving, conscious of this whole kind of thing of, wanting to give them more than they expect.
Yes.
And also just to, it's more so kind of that. And so, I mean, the kids were ridiculously excited about the boxes. I mean, ridiculous.
And what did you have in them? Or
so my original boxes are the ones that I was selling in the retail shops, and they have the food in it, like I will have in the subscription boxes. And so they have I never shown them to you? Hang on, because this is the kind of branding. So I can't even see it. So that's the boxes, you see.
Okay, cool.
And so what happened was, and they have a little handle on them. So it has and you add the fresh chicken to that to make the honey skewered chicken. We did that at one of the classes, you see. So I just said, right, I need to make it at home then, because they were but it has my story on the side here.
Oh, lovely. Kids
were coming back the next day going, so now Dylan was a fussy eater. So they read it. And poor Dee was here, and she goes into him and she goes, Dylan, now you're a fussy eater. Are you still a fussy eater? and I said, no, he's not a fussy eater now. I said, because he cooks with his mom,
Yeah.
And then I've got the curry one, then I've got a bar one. So they're the original kind of ones that this has kind of come from. These are the ones that were in the shops. So they look great. Except they didn't have the shelf appeal for kids. They were, and they've even got a thing on the back, foodie word search.
Right.
And I had facts, but I had to cover them over by the nutritional things. I had fun facts for the kids. I thought, in my naivety, I thought I was appealing to the children. Pictures of kids cooking on the front would have been better.
Yeah.
Or at least holding the dish, and I did that for the Christmas one. So there would be stuff I'd need to change on that if they were going back into retail. So that's why it's like, no, let's just change. If I'm changing it, let's change it completely.
Yes, yeah.
But they enjoyed it, and the biscuits are my no bake bars, and they're a kind of an oat based kind of thing. And actually, that grandmother, quite a few of them did them that night, and came back. Like, and the kids had been cooking with me for 3 hours, did those, and 2 of them I gave them another box of it because they loved it so much. And one of them has the little guy Owen, and he has a younger brother, and the mum was like, oh my god, those biscuits, they're nearly gone, you know. And I said, yeah, we'll have another one, and I gave it to the little brother, and I said, and this time you can put them in the freezer if you want, you know. And the grandmother was the same. She was like, it's such a great idea, Jill. I mean, I absolutely love it. You know, Jasmine is just loving it. She's asking me loads of questions, and she's real enthusiastic about the cooking. So, so you see the handle part of this. I always felt that was really important because it felt like a gift. Yes. And the kid in the supermarket would walk around holding it. Yes. So for me, the idea of the subscription box being delivered to the children, and for them, if we're being addressed to them, and for it's a box coming for them that they open it, that's that part of it. Yeah, that takes that experience and moves it online as such, you know. Yeah. So because I know how excited Dylan gets if he gets anything posted to him now. You know, he gets upset because I get so much post. I'm like, you can have the bills if you want. And it's like, you always get posted. And gets very excited when there's something for him, you know. Right. So I think that, you know, kids like that because it's so rare now, you know, that they do. So those sorts of things I've picked up from the other product, the old one, and trying to marry it and find the same experience in the new one, you know. So that's where it's coming from. And I told you about the kind of that thing where they're seeing me on the video and going, oh, that's Jill, and recognize me and enjoying that part of it. Yes. So I think the way I'll do that online is with Facebook Live, for example. You know, where it's like, oh no, it's you know, it's coming up live now that the kids will want to get on, because, and then I'll at least when the comments come up, I'll be able to say their name, you know, and say, oh, you know, Alex and such is watching, and you know, hi there, and yes, you love all my products, that, and connect that way with them, even if I can't physically see them. Yes, get to them all, because I think that no matter how much interaction kids love online, they still love, like us all, you still want that personal thing. So I'm trying to make sure that I have all those angles covered. Okay, great. Fantastic. You've really thought this out. No, it's fantastic. Well done. I mean, there's so much coming together. And actually, just on the videos, before I forget, checked with the 100. It seems you're right now in saying that. I've got onto YouTube myself, and they're coming back to me because I said, I have a couple of clients, which I do, you know, they're all under the 100, wanting to change. So I haven't heard back. They're seeing what they can do. So, you know, once I hear back, I'm hoping to, because how many, you've 60 or something? Or no, I've only got it like kind of 30 or 40, 37 or something like that. Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, look, hopefully now they'll get back to me, and because I did one of their trainings. So, okay. Hopefully they'll get back. You said, you can go to YouTube, can't you? You can go to up to there for a visit. Google. Oh, is that Google or YouTube you were saying? Google. Oh, Google. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I don't know even if YouTube are in Dublin, actually. No, they're not here, are they? No, I don't think. You can with Google for sure. Yeah. Because you can go up and they do all free food, and they have a swimming pool and all sorts of lovely stuff. For their staff. So it'd be a good one actually to do yourself. If you contact them, you go to Google, is it google.business.ie or google.business.com, you can actually contact them and you can arrange to go up. Do you know what? I'd love to do the behind the scenes one for YouTube on that. Yeah. Yes. With my junior reporter, you know, and bring Dylan up to ask the questions. Yeah. Because he was blown away, because he was actually watching Dude Perfect, one of their videos, the 4 lads who basically just have built their business on shooting YouTube videos. Right. And they have a really cool office, which we were looking at the video of yesterday. Right. So, and he was just like blown away by it. So I think actually if I could bring him up and get him to interview in Google, it would be pretty cool, and use that as a behind the scenes one, you know? Yeah, definitely. But you can contact them, I know, because I was on to them before, and I think there's a phone number, so I'm pretty sure I rang them. And they were saying to me, the guy was saying, sure, just come up now. I just didn't get up there yet, but it's on my to-do list. Okay, cool. You know,
to even just get the picture, you know, the way in front of.
yeah, of course. Yeah. No, I will. I'll contact them. Yeah, for sure. When I'm ready to. Yeah.
So that's kind of one of the things there. So did you get a chance to have a look at the content, Martin? Sorry, I forgot to send it on. My God, I'm just having brain freeze the last week.
You know what? I barely looked at it, and that's to be honest with you. My plan was to look at it the other day. I have no idea what happened, but it didn't happen.
Okay.
This week has just been, it's been weird. I've been getting up to go to the gym, but I've been finding I'm so tired. Like I went back to bed yesterday morning. I got up to go to the gym at 6. I went back to bed for an hour when I come back because I was exhausted. But I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter. Sometimes, you know, you have those tireder weeks. So I'm just going to go with it.
Honor that, because I find when you push yourself too much, you just run into a brick wall, and then you're gone for a week nearly.
That's it. Yeah.
3 or 4 days at a time. And because, I know you sound like you're a bit like me. I just go, and then it's like brick wall where I actually nearly physically can't
do anything then. And I was meant to have my photo shoot tomorrow. Now it's been pushed out to the 4th of August because of a few things. And then she couldn't do next week. So we're doing the 4th, which is fine. It still gives us time because she'll have the photos by the next day. And I was just, oh gosh, okay, so I have to do this. And I was back up in the Ryan Academy then on Tuesday for a meeting with the girls that we had been in the High Flyers with.
Okay.
Kind of and I was chairing the meeting, so I wanted to make sure I was at that. So so it was just I'm looking at my board here. I was just I don't know, you know, one of those weeks just tired and just like, oh gosh, but I still need to get X, Y, and Z done.
Of course.
But at the same time not push myself. So actually it was probably best that the photo shoot was cancelled.
Yeah. And it's just as well the launch is on the 26th then.
Yes. Very much so, yeah.
So because we need to start looking now as well with our next session exactly what you're going to be doing as well. I know part of it is the branding and the story, which is good to have, but equally we'll say in terms of timelines and whatnot for the next couple of weeks in terms of and that's where the content calendar comes in.
That's what I'd like to do with you. I'd like to fill that out as to, okay, so on this day 2 weeks prior you're doing this so I've started Hootsuite, so start to fill in all of that would be great.
Yeah, no problem. So what we could do is we could do the next session. I'd like to kind of, if you can, do you think you'll get a chance, we'll say in the next week, to look at the branding side of it? Because sometimes if you leave it too long, you're nearly starting the process again.
Wait, when you say the branding side, as in the story?
The story, yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm going to look at that today.
So we can spend, I don't know, it could take half an hour, it could take 15 minutes, but just spend a bit of time maybe the next day just kind of finalizing.
Okay.
That.
Yeah.
Just be able to tick it off and say, okay, that's done.
Well, I have my video shoots on Monday, so I kind of need to have it.
Yeah, before then. No pressure then.
So Friday, how are you fixed Friday?
Oh God,
you up to your eyes?
Yeah. Now, if you don't mind Saturday, I can do Saturday.
Yeah. No, Saturday's fine. Yeah.
Can I come back to you at the time? I'm just not sure, but.
When is your summit? The 20?
It's starting Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be fine. Just I'm doing pre-recordings and all sorts. Like it'll be fine next week. I'll still be, doing my other stuff too. But I just have to be careful of times and all the rest of it.
Yeah. Well, look, don't set a time. I'm around this weekend.
Okay, great.
So we can drop in for, even if it's half an hour. To what I'll do is I'll work on this and now, so that I have it set by Friday, so that whenever you call to say, look, I'm free in 2 hours time or whatever it is, that I'll be ready, because I need to have this ready for Monday.
Okay, perfect. Okay, yeah, well, perfect. Nothing like a deadline.
I'm going through a couple of the ideas I have for the videos in terms of the marketing part of the video.
Yeah, okay.
As well, just to make sure I'm covering all bases.
No, definitely. What are your thoughts so far in terms of it? Like, what's the...
So I'm thinking that I need a video where we're talking to, a how-to, actually a mom on a computer, literally like a 30-second one, mom on a computer, to a shot of the kid opening the door, putting the box down, being excited to open it up, watch over the shoulder, kind of watching an iPad with the video on it, and the kid mixing something, and then the finished product. So that's like a 30-second one that we can put up on all social medias, like, you know, how it works, you know, kind of thing. Then one where there's a mom talking to camera, as if she's been interviewed by the camera person or somebody behind camera, and there's kids in the background doing their Cook It Kids subscription box, and she's talking about how much fun they're having and how she's loved buying it for them, and they get it every month and they're so excited. So it's kind of from her perspective, and, you know, and then the kid being interviewed saying, we love getting, you know, Cook It Kids delivered to the house. It's great fun, or, you know, that. So from the customer perspective, I suppose, as to like, yeah, we love getting it, and she needs to hit on a couple of points from this brand story that I need to give her to say, that feel natural.
Yes, yeah.
And the kids need to do the same.
Yeah.
And then, so I need to kind of script that for them. And then one for me, more like I was thinking, and I don't know whether I said this to you or to the videographer, but more like I'm being interviewed, you know, kind of like a side angle type of thing where you're sitting in a chair, and it's, so that you've got one camera and it's telling the story about it.
Right. Why the side angle? Just as a matter of interest.
So I suppose, no, actually, I'm thinking more like a 2-camera shoot. So because, and so you're front on and you're talking about stuff, but so that you can actually edit it in, and it's not all just from one angle.
Right. Okay, that's fine. No, I thought you were doing the whole thing side.
Yeah, no, sorry. So it's like, you know, like sometimes you'd see it in when they're being celebs are being interviewed for films or something.
Yes, yeah.
And it'll just cut to that.
Yes,
They're still talking to the interviewer facing forward.
Yeah. I wouldn't overdo it, because I've seen one guy, he does it, and he does really good videos in general, and even I've seen it commented, and he's a really good looking guy and everything. But it's like, seriously, with the side view.
Right, okay.
But it's just overkill, like, as in he barely says 3 words, and then they're like,
okay. So I suppose that one, then I need to decide on what my actual reasoning for it is, and who I'm telling the story to.
Yes, your audience, yeah.
Yeah, and I haven't quite figured that one out. The other 2 I'm very clear on. That one I'm not so clear on, so.
Well, would it be fair to say that it is, you know, obviously the parents and the grandparents that you're speaking to their heart, so to speak? Yeah,
I suppose it's probably a longer version of the how it works. Right. It's more the background to why it's come about.
Okay, right. So it's really your backstory then.
Yeah, I guess it. Yeah, I think so. I think that would be important to put it out there.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And so maybe it's more important. See, I didn't want that kind of me in the kitchen standing up the way I am with all.
No, I think the side shots are good, but all I'm saying is just don't
overdo them.
Overdo them, because it was just like, you'd be like, it was just, they overdid it so much, and he had like professional guys in. I was like,
yeah,
it's actually, whatever they're doing, it actually looks weird.
It doesn't work. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, no, that's cool. And I just want to kind of it to be as if they, you know, there's somebody in front of the camera interviewing me, but really it's, you know, and asking the questions.
Right. Yeah.
But there's not. So I'm just telling the story as if I've been asked the question. So I need to answer the questions as well, lay out the questions as well as answer.
Sure. Yeah.
And just be me, just be animated me. Perfect. Not too animated, but and me, you know.
You go very Americanized going, hi guys.
Yeah. Well, oh my God, it was just so awesome. So,
but they love that, honestly, because I've done quite a few webinars, and I sometimes will be talking to people who are like, oh my God, like I have to just be so animated. It's really
okay. Well, maybe I need to be me. I think I'm animated enough. Once I start getting into it, I think I'm okay. I think. And I don't want to be...
You speak quite fast, so you probably need to slow that down a bit.
Yeah, okay, probably, yeah. I'm very conscious of that. But I tried in my last pitch, actually, for the high flyers, and it didn't work. I didn't slow it down at all. Right.
Do you have a potential to have, like, that, the computer doing it in the back? Like, so, you know, like the newsreader...
Auto cue.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, I did get a tip on a downloadable auto cue app.
There's a free one. Cueprompter.com.
Thank you.
There's one you can get actually with an iPad, but it's about £100 or so. You can get it on. It's really cool actually, because you can have it behind the camera, so that it looks like you're still looking at the camera. Because the way sometimes I did do it on Q Prompter, but then I had it over my computer, so it looks like I'm talking to the sky.
Oh, right, okay.
So you nearly need it behind it, so you're still. Because even I was looking back at our video this morning, I was like, oh my God, I look like I'm talking to or something sometimes. You don't realize, kind of the facial expressions you have sometimes, whatever. Or even, it's very hard to translate onto video. So it's looking in the camera and talking to the camera, all the rest of it. But if it's behind it, so you might just talk to there is qprompter.com, you can definitely get that. And I've done it and I've made it slower and faster because I speak really fast sometimes.
Okay.
But what I found, like you, is like, welcome to the, oh dear Jesus. I was like, holy Christ, I'm never going to get this out. I only have 4 sentences. But actually, it was really good because it comes across more confident, more like, and I'm consciously trying to slow down now because I just go 90 miles to the gallon. They don't even understand the first word, not to mind.
Yes.
Okay. One. So even just try it. Even actually just put it up in Q Prompter actually to practice.
Okay.
And just put it in, just copy and paste in whatever you're saying. And it is actually mind-numbingly boring to go, hi, this is Jill, whatever you're saying. And it's so slow, but it is actually good practice to do it over the next few days, because even if you don't have a prompter on one day, it will encourage you to speak slower. And even play it back, record yourself and play it back, because when I was doing that as well, I thought, oh my God, I'm still speaking so fast. My God.
Right, okay.
Because particularly if you're, an Irish audience, but equally an international audience, the Americans, and a lot of them, they speak really slowly. They really pronounce and enunciate every single word.
Okay.
To the extent actually they make a better point, because I've been on Blab. Have you been on Blab?
Yeah, no, I haven't been on it, but yeah.
And if I was speaking, and if I speak too fast, I just don't get the point across the same as somebody that speaks. So it's worth actually just listening back to yourself and just critique it, not criticize yourself, but just be very conscious of, okay, if I do a really fast one and then if I do a slower one, which actually sounds better, or which, and then obviously even deciding what words you need to really frame, what you need to really focus on, what words are important, or what phrases. Sorry,
Hi.
Semi-dressed. What are you looking for?
You missing your mom?
Swings, go on out, go on. She's been putting on tattoos, those tattoo things. Oh gosh.
Oh my goodness, you've loads.
It's my tattoo maker.
Oh, they're gorgeous ones.
And this one in my hand.
Oh wow.
See what you can do in an hour?
And this one's already worn off.
Oh right, you'll have to put another one there.
There's 2 on my legs.
Yeah.
Wow, they're all over you.
Yeah.
They're just one big tattoo.
There's Sophia on my foot.
Sophia's on your foot.
Yeah.
Oh.
And Sophia here.
And is that from Frozen?
No, Sophia the first.
Oh, Sophia the first. Oh right, okay. Oh, fantastic. I didn't recognize her. Sorry.
Go on out. Off you go out to the garden quickly.
Please.
Out you go. Sorry.
My fella saw you.
I thought it was some guy in mine for a minute. I was like, sorry, give me a fright.
Okay, well listen, I'm going to work on the brand story then, I guess, and Q Prompter. In fact, if I can record a video, I might send it to you for that interview one, for the brand story.
You actually just really slow down, because definitely, honestly, it comes across. Because I'm inclined to do it as well. To me, I'm trying to get across as much value as possible, and I speak 90 to the dozen, and then I draw a breath at the end. And like one woman said to me in the nicest way, because I worked there for a while, she said, Emma, sometimes you turn on, she's American, sometimes you turn on, not just the water hose, but like a fire hose. I was like, okay, thanks for that. So
very good.
So,
okay, I will do my very best.
Okay, great stuff.
All right, listen.
I'll let you know for Saturday then. But it could be something in the evening. Is that okay? Or
yeah, that's fine. Where I'm around, most likely. Give me a shout anyway on Facebook. Message me and just see if I'm around. If I am, yeah, great.
Brilliant.
Or if I'm going to be in the next hour or something. You know what I mean? So yeah, just touch base with me and see where I'm at.
Great.
But we're not going to do anything.
Thanks a million, Jill. Thanks so much.
Cheers. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.